Hello everyone and those present at COP27. My name is Arjumand Nizami and I'm Country Director of Helvetas Pakistan in Pakistan. I have 29 years of experience in development cooperation. More than 33 million people in Pakistan were affected by severe floods this year. Out of the total 160 districts, 81 were officially declared as calamity hit and 40 were declared as flood affected. This is 75% of the total country. These floods, unlike historical times, have started deep south in the province of Balochistan and South KP through hill torrents and cloud bursts. The next route of the floods was Sindh, fed by hill torrents from Balochistan. Meanwhile, floods built up in the north due to glacial melting preceded by heat wave and long protracted rains. Helvetas Swiss Intercooperation has extended support to flood-affected communities in 18 districts with food, shelter, health, winterization material, drinking water, and several non-food items. And there are several organizations and volunteers extending this support.
But that's not the answer and adequate response to calamities like these. This is not the first and the last disaster. Let me present you 3 examples from my assessment of climate change turning into human disaster.
Most of the affected districts also face repeated drought emergency and heat waves. Just check the case of 2 provinces. This map shows you IPC rating of drought. And here is the flood map. This overlap tells us that we are facing a climate extremes. These districts were not physically capable of receiving so much water all of a sudden. The second case is that of accelerated melting of glaciers. And brace yourself, I will show you 3 satellite imageries of one of the largest glaciers of Pakistan, the Bol Toro Glacier in the north. Here is a satellite imagery of 2011 in March, and here is another image just after 5 years at the same time, and the one after 8 years. Several hundred lakes formed with melting of glaciers. Our glaciers are thinning, rivers are bulging, and then heavy monsoons add to the quantity of water. Pakistan lost major infrastructure including road, health system, schools, power supply, and so on. It will take years to rebuild it. But my third argument is poverty. Floods have hit parts of the country where most of the poor population lives. They rely on agriculture and livestock, and both these sources of livelihoods have been taken away from them, no matter plains or the mountains. It is not easy for them to rebuild these assets and yet wait for another disaster. We could have done better with better infrastructure, preparedness, and emergency management. And this is where we need world community support. We need your technical support, and we need money, but not as an act of charity, as a fair compensation of our losses, particularly from Global North. Since Stockholm Convention, Earth Summit in Rio, and several COPs, we had lofty declarations but little practical actions. Now is the time for the international community to actually translate promises into actions. The high-emitting countries need to fast-track emission reduction and spend more on providing low-emitting countries with stronger and well-governed adaptation solutions. Today it is Pakistan, tomorrow it can be somebody else. Disasters of this scale exacerbate already existing challenges, like we have the case of Pakistan. There is malnutrition, diseases, inefficiency in food systems, water scarcity, social injustices, gender inequalities, and so on. Rebuilding again is not the solution that can help countries like Pakistan. We need to build for the better to withstand greater pressures. It is not wise to put the entire burden on nature. Conversations about loss and damage compensation is just not enough. We need to build long-term resilience in a manner that we do not have to deal with emergencies again and again.
And this includes our internal governance parameters. Pakistan's flood disaster is not over yet. We are still in a state of emergency. But on a longer term, we have to rethink and revisit our concept of development. There are 800 million people living in climate hotspots. Let's not wait for another disaster to happen. I urge you to please advocate and take concrete decisions and step up your efforts. Enjoy the conference.